Hello and welcome to everyone across the nation joining today's workshop on adding instructional hours. This is Martha Perez with the CASAS Technology Support Team, and I will be presenting today's workshop. This workshop focuses on how to record instructional hours in your online database. This function is only available with enhanced access. In other words, a TE license or collective agreement with CASAS is required. Instructional hours may be added by TE enhanced users at your agency or data manager, or teachers granted access to manage their own classes. This is one of 23 complimentary CASAS Online Implementation Basics workshops. We highly recommend attending as many workshops possible to learn about best practices and ask questions to become confident in using the online system. Online help is available on our website from training and support for eTest online help and TOPS Pro Enterprise. You will want to be sure and bookmark these as your electronic go-to resources. Electronic resources are updated periodically, so going to them will help to ensure you are receiving the most current information. Information for today's workshop comes from TOPS Pro Enterprise Help, Class Student Personnel Information, Class Information, and Adding Instructional Hours. You can download the document. Okay. Now, before we get started, I want to be sure and point out where you will find access to CASAS eTests online and also TOPS Pro Enterprise online. Now, please notice the URLs I just pasted in the chat box. At top left of the web browser, this is the main domain name address you will use when your agency is set up with an online database. This is commonly referred to as the production server, where live data is produced. Now, for today's workshop, we will be using a simulation server for a fictional school called Rolling Hills Adult School. The simulation server is populated with fictional data to give you a realistic training experience. Now, this is available to anyone wanting to experiment and explore our online system without risk of compromising live data. Now, you will find information on how to access the simulation server from Training and Support, eTest Online Help, and Getting Started, and download the simulation server document. Okay. Now let's begin, and please feel free to ask questions along the way. The CASAS online system offers two methods for recording instructional hours in your online database. With TOPS Pro Enterprise through manual data entry or import from a third-party system or Fillable import template. To access TOPS Pro Enterprise for the first time on a local computer, click the TE Client link or Install at left of the web browser window. Now, a client application will install in the local computer to connect with the online server. A shortcut icon is automatically placed on the computer desktop. Now, if you are a frequent user of TE or somebody who will access TE frequently, you may want to pin the shortcut icon to your taskbar along the bottom of your computer monitor. You can right-click, and this is for quick access when other applications are open on your screen. Okay. Now, TE opens to a login screen similar to eTests, except that you need to specify the server from the drop-down menu. We will be connecting to the simulation server. The simulation server has generic accounts for administrator, coordinator, proctor, and teacher login so that you may experience different types of user access. Coordinators and proctors do not automatically have access to TE. Access to TE may be granted by the agency to anyone with or without coordinator or proctor certification. Now, users enter the same login credentials to access either eTests or TE because there is only one database shared between both applications. Now, after entering login credentials such as Administrator 23, I will be entering my password, and then click Connect to establish connection to your online database. Now, TE opens to an empty screen. All data and reports are displayed from accessing menus along the top left. Top right displays the logged on user, application version, and general screen controls. All user activity is tracked and recorded in the online system, so it is important not to share login credentials. Now, the recommended approach for manually recording instructional hours is from the Organization menu, select Classes, and then Class Instances. A list opens to display class instance records for the current program year. By default, the list is sorted by class ID and then by extended ID. To record instructional hours, first filter for the class. For example, click the filter icon in the class ID column and enter class. In this case, I will enter 10003 and then click OK. From the filtered list, double-click to open the Fall ABE Beginning Literacy. A new tab opens in a split screen with the navigator on the left and the class instance information record at right. From navigator at left, click Instructional Hours. Now, the benefit of using the navigator to add related records is that key fields auto-populate, saving time and ensuring accuracy. This is the recommended approach for manual data entry. In this case, recording instructional hours from the navigator of the class instance record auto-populated the instructional hours screen at right with students enrolled in the class. By default, the participation source for instructional hours is set to record daily attendance. Now, to change, click the down arrow in the participation source. Now, this field will just click the drop-down menu, and this will display select Student Update Cumulated to represent the total number of hours since entry in the class. Select Student Observation to record hours for adults with intellectual disabilities. Select Test to record number of hours between tests. Select Student Update to represent additional number of hours from the last update. Okay. Now, for example, choose this option when recording hours at the end of each week. Okay. Now, by default, students are sorted by ID. Okay. Well, in this case, it's sorted by name. So if you just click on sorted by name, it'll sort them by ID from smaller to larger. And if you click again, it will sort by name. So now students are sorted by first name. Okay. All right. Now, to record instructional hours for students enrolled in the class, click the edit icon. You can either click here or I will click it again to undo this function. And you can also do the More button. Click the Edit mode. Okay. Now, this will open the instructional hours data input grid, as you can see. Now, from the grid, click Add. A new column is added at right of students listed. Okay. Now, by default, the date displayed in the column is for the current date. Now, click on the date to change. Now, to select a date, click the down arrow in the date field. From the drop-down calendar, we will select preferred date. In this case, I will choose August. This is when my class started. And I will just say this Monday. Okay. Now enter number of hours per student in the data input field adjacent to each name. Okay. Now click Add to add another date column and continue recording instructional hours. Now you may change dates as needed, and I will go again with my same class started the next day. Okay. All right. Now you can add several dates. I will just go ahead and add several dates, one after the other one. Just add several hours of instruction. And one last one. All right, now when finished with recording instructional hours, from the toolbar at the top of New Class Enrollment Record, click Save. Okay, let's give it a moment. All right, it looks like it's done. Now, from the navigator at left, click Class Records. Now, the Class Records list displays at right. Class records with instructional hours are automatically added for each student per participation source. Now, click the red X box tab on the class instance to close the record and return to class instances. Very good. Are there any questions about manually recording instructional hours in your online database? No questions? Okay, I'll take that as a no. Now, let's look at the second method for recording instructional hours with importing. As mentioned at the beginning of this workshop, there are two sources for importing records coming from an external source, either from a third-party system or populating an import template. Now, there is only one way, however, to import this information. From the Tools menu, click the third-party import wizard. Now the wizard opens to guide you with information displayed on each screen through the importing process. From the introduction screen, click Next. From the new import session, click Next. Now TE allows several types of imported records to populate and update information in your online database. To import instructional hours, select Attendance Hours from Third-Party System and click this one. and then click Next. Now, the most common file type for importing records is a comma-separated values. Select, and then to select the import file, click Browse. From the pop-up window, select a saved CSV file. Now, one that was either exported from a third party or manually populated on an import template. Now, click Attendance Hours 7050 Import. Okay. When the selected file displays in the file name field, click Next. The wizard is now ready to process the import data from the specified file. Very important note. Now check Import Instructional Hours as Cumulated Hours, when imported hours represent the total number of hours since entry in a class. Okay. Leave this unchecked to represent additional number of hours from the last import. For this demonstration, we will leave this unchecked. Now, importing daily attendance hours is not offered. Okay, now let's click Next. Now, messages you want displayed are: the content of the specified import file has been read successfully, and all process records, 2 or could be more, have been found to be valid, etc. Now, importing attendance hours automatically adds class records with instructional hours for each student per participation source. Note that participation source for imported attendance hours depends on whether or not the box for import instructional hours as cumulated hours was checked or left unchecked. Checked, the participation source is student updated or cumulated. Unchecked for participation source is student update. Now click Next to continue. Now, even though all records in the import file are considered to be valid, some fields did not auto-populate, such as first, middle, and last name. Now, at the bottom of the Edit Records screen, please click on Load Existing Data. Now, this will auto-populate missing student names. Now, to confirm loading existing data, click Yes. Notice that by loading existing data, student first, middle, and last name fields are now populated with existing information. Click Next to continue. Now, records are now ready to import. Click Next to import these records. Okay, let's give it a moment to complete the task. Almost there. Now, when you see the message displayed, the entire data set containing dataset successfully imported into your online database, let's click Finish. Okay. Now, to verify instructional hours manually recorded and imported for students enrolled in multiple classes, use the Child Lister feature. Now, in the toolbar at far right of the Class Instances list, click More, and then from More buttons available, click Child Lister. Now, from the Child Lister navigator at left, we're going to click Class Records. With the ABE Beginning Literacy class highlighted in the top page, class records with instructional hours automatically display in the Child Lister page at the bottom. These are the ones we added manually to record daily attendance. Now, in the top page, click the red X box in the Class ID column to remove Filter. Now in the top page, click the Extended ID filter icon. Enter fall, oops, and then click OK. Now the top page now displays all classes for fall. To view class records that were just imported, click Class 30004 in the top page, and now view the imported class record below. Notice a different type of participation source with imported records. Participation source is specified at the time records are imported. In this case, update hours represent additional number of hours from the last import. You have the option when importing to specify hours as a total number since entry in a class. Now we're going to click on class 30006 in the top page and view other imported class records in the child lister page at the bottom. Again, importing attendance hours is recorded as update records, which may represent cumulative or accumulative hours and not daily attendance. While the child lister is enabled, use the navigator to view other related records, such as tests for students or enrolled in classes. Now, from the child lister navigator at left, click Tests. With the ESL Advanced Fall class highlighted in the top page, test records for students enrolled in the class automatically display in the child lister page at the bottom. These may be records of tests taken at any site or in any class. Now let's click on Class 3004 in the top page and view the test record below. The same imported class student will display. Now click 10003 in the top page and view test records in the child lister page at the bottom. The other related record you may view with the child lister enabled is class enrollments. Now from the child lister navigator at left, click Class Enrollments. Now with ABE Beginning Literacy class highlighted in the top page, class enrollments automatically display in the child lister page at the bottom. Managing class enrollment is beneficial when generating reports to specify only students meeting a specified status. In other words, generate reports that only include students with an active enrollment status rather than including all students who have been enrolled in the class. Now click Class 3004 in the top page and view the class enrollment record below. Now click Class 30006 in the top page and view class enrollment record in the child lister page at the bottom. Now, as mentioned earlier, the benefit of using the navigator to add related records is that key fields auto-populate, saving time and ensuring accuracy. This is the recommended approach for manual data entry. Are there any questions about importing or manually recording instructional hours in your online database? Okay, I will take that as a no. Now we can provide you with a folder of fillable templates. Here we go. To help you populate your online database without using manual data entry or a third-party system. Now, such as the one used for today's demonstration to import attendance hours. Now the first sheet provides detailed directions for steps to populate the template, steps to save the populated template as an importable file, steps to import the file steps to import records, and steps to view and confirm imported records. Now the second sheet is a fillable template with sample data. Reference the exchanging data with third-party systems document included in the folder of import templates to identify the specified type of data to populate each column. Okay. Now, TOPS Pro Enterprise offers two pre-formatted reports for reporting individual student and class hours, the instructional hours and student profile. From reports, select demographics and then click instructional hours. The report generator opens to a split screen with the report setup navigator at left and the report setup toolbar at the right, or along the top right. Now the instructional hours report is mostly generated by class. From the navigator at left, select class instances. From the class instance list displayed at right, uncheck all classes from the header at top left of the list, and then check class 110. From the toolbar at top, click Generate to render a report. And let's give it a few moments to generate. Okay. The instructional hours report renders and displays in a new tab for the reporting session. Now the report lists students enrolled in the class. Notice that all students have an active status or class status and that there are 4 pages in this report. Okay. This is because all 67 students are active by default. Okay. All right. Now, if class enrollments are managed to specify who among all students enrolled over time are active, inactive, or completed, reports may be generated to only include students who are truly active. Now, hours are reported in 4 columns at right of this report. U represents update for cumulated or accumulated hours. T is for test to represent hours between tests. O represents hours by observation, and then D or daily, hours entered manually. These are daily hours. Another report is from data management. And then click on Student Profile. Now this report includes a lot of information about the student. For this demonstration, we will just generate the report to reflect instructional hours. From General Settings displayed at right, under Special Options, uncheck all boxes and leaving checked to only show information for name and personal. So I will uncheck all the boxes here, and we'll leave the class box checked as well. From the navigator at left, click In Program Years. From List of Students displayed at right, click the name filter icon, select Contains, enter Pacheco to filter for Andy Pacheco and then click OK. From toolbar at the top, click Generate to render a report. Now, a student profile report for Andy Pacheco displays in a new tab. Because we specified to only include information for classes, the report only includes instructional hours, which are also reported in 4 columns, except in a slightly different order as seen in the instructional hours report. Now, pre-formatted reports may be saved, keep session, to the reports manager. Now, exported to various file types or also printed. One last example to report instructional hours is with an ad hoc report. From the list of students, filter for Andy Pacheco. So click on Records, Students, Demographics. Filter by last name, contains Pacheco. So we filtered for Andy Pacheco. Double click to open Andy's student information record. Now from the navigator at left, click Class Records. From toolbar at top right of the class records list, click More. For more buttons available, click Print. Oh, and they are displayed right here. Print. Now in the print setup window, title the report. We're going to name it Instructional Hours for Andy Pacheco. Okay. Now select print size. I will do landscape. Click Add All to select columns and then click Preview. Okay. Now a student profile report for Andy Pacheco displays in a new tab. Ad hoc reports may be exported to various file types or also printed. Okay. Are there any questions about recording, importing, or reporting instructional hours before we wrap it up? All right, I will take that again as a no. Now at far right, click Pages and select Close All Pages. Now if you're finished working in TE at top left, click the TE icon and either lock your screen if you plan to return and continue working, or disconnect from the server. Again, click the TE icon and click the Exit to exit the application. Okay. Now, each workshop in a set of CASAS Online implementation basics builds on the last in a logical progression for helping you to get up and running with the online system. If you missed a workshop, we posted a playlist from past recordings for your preview. Now, you may access them from Training and Support, eTest Online Help, Workshop Recordings, CASAS Online Implementation Basics. And you can also access them from our social media newsroom on our YouTube channel. So you can access these and other recordings. Okay. Now, let's paste some information here on our chat box. Please notice the information I just pasted in the chat box about our technology support team. The support team is available to provide any technical assistance you may need to ensure successful implementation. This email address alerts the support team that includes several members. Communicating to the larger group will help us to ensure you receive a timely response. Now, team members are available from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, Monday through Friday. Thank you for your time to attend the workshop on adding instructional hours. Now, this concludes the set of 23 complimentary CASAS Online Implementation Basics workshops. It's been our pleasure spending time with you to help you get up and running smoothly with the CASAS Online system. Please do not hesitate to keep in touch with us. Thank you very much for your time.